President Tinubu appoints new aides and new chief executive officers of some agencies and parastatals. New dawn for Federal Capital Territory as Center of Unity gets Civil Service Commission and Mandate Secretariat for Women Affairs.
I can tell you authoritatively, Mr. President, I give approval for the establishment of Civil Service Commission for the Federal Capital Territory.
Labor of heroes past shall never be in vain. President Tinubu approves 18 billion naira outstanding payment. Group life assurance.
For those officers that are not covered by previous years' life insurance.
Hello and thank you for joining us on the Network News on NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. Adiola Komiakiri is standing by in Lagos. Let's begin with good news. Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State has commended efforts of the 177 Guards Battalion of the Nigerian military, which secured the release of 4 students of Nasarawa State University, Kefi, who were recently kidnapped. The governor was at the State House to brief President Bola Tinubu on the security situation in the state. State House correspondent Musbau Danwahab reports that the president also received Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia on a similar visit.
The president is keeping tabs on the situation across the state with particular attention to security. And the Nasarawa State Governor has a situation report on the latest rescue mission leading to the release of the 4 kidnapped victims in his state.
I told him that God so kind, they got released yesterday. And I told him who did the work. You know, the military actually did a very good job and we were able to get them released, you know, without paying anything, you know, to anybody.
Governor Abdullahi Sule also briefed the president on the recent groundbreaking ceremony for a lithium processing plant in his state.
Biggest plant, you know, in Nasarawa State, which is going to be, well, the biggest plant in Nigeria, as a matter of fact, for lithium processing, which is going to be 18,000 tons per day of processing.
Governor Hyacinth Alia of Benue State also briefed the president on the return of what he called relative peace in his state, citing offering of olive branch as his major approach.
And we continue to do the work, the aim being that we want to get all the IDPs back home to their ancestral homes and their ancestral farmlands. And we cannot thank the federal government enough for assisting us by all ramifications for us to be able to achieve this.
President Tinubu also received a young entrepreneur, Muazzam Mairawani, who lauded the foundation being laid by the current administration for businesses to thrive.
Someone that understands the governance and will suit business at the same time. And he's very supportive, very kind and generous, and he has renewed the hope for the youth by involving a lot of youth in his cabinet, and inshallah within a year all the masses of Nigeria will have seen the hard work Mr. President is doing. Someone that doesn't care about where you come from, who you are, your ethnicity, your religion. No. Once you have something to offer, this is your government.
One important thing is the commitment, the determination to do the right thing. And I'm confident that Mr. President is doing his best to address issues, challenges facing this great nation.
They implored Nigerians to be patient with the administration to perfect its plan for the turnaround of the socio-economic situation in the country. From the State House, Musbau and Wahab, NTA News.
And now to appointments. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of new chief executive officers of agencies and parastatals under the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, in line with his resolve to ground Nigeria's economic revival on the foundation of trade expansion through small, medium and large-scale industry facilitation in the country. Here are the names of the new chief executives and their portfolios.
Museni Ishak Magaji, SAN, CAC. Afiz Ogun Oluwatoyin, ITF. Kamal Bakrin, NSDC, Olufemi Ogunyemi, NEPZA, Nonye Ayani, NEPC, Aisha Rimi, NIPC, Bamanga Usman Jeddah, OGFZA, Charles Odi Smeden, Ifeanyi Chukwunonso Okeke, SON, Rabiu Olowo, FRCN, Anthony Atuche, NCE, Veronica Sefia Ndanusa, LITF CMB, Lucia Shitu, TBS MB, Oluwemimo Joseph Oshanikmi, NADDC.
President Bola Tinubu has also approved the appointment of the governing board and management team of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency (FEMA) for a renewable term of 4 years in accordance with Section 2, Subsection 3 of the FEMA Amendment Act 2007. They are Chairman, Engineer Imam Ibrahim Kashim Imam, Managing Director, Engineer Chukwuemeka Basi, Member NATO Yusuf Lawan Uthman, Member Engineer Ibi Tena Manasi, Member FRSC ACM Shehu Muhammad, Member Finance Babatunde Daramola Oniru, Member South Honorable Priye Oseke, Member Southwest Honorable Uye Ojobe, Member Southeast Dr. Kenneth Ubala, Member North Central Senator Timothy Adudu, Member Northeast Engineer Abubakar Bappa, and Member Northwest Aminu Adamu. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, says President Tinubu expects the new appointees to be integrous and competent in service delivery, given the central role that the institution will play in the sustainable health of growth-enabling infrastructure nationwide. Similarly, President Bola Tinubu has appointed 2 new aides to take charge of strategic ministerial coordination. They are Bayo Onanuga, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Delu Bulus Yakubu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. The new appointees are professionals with prior experience within the architecture of the ministries they will be coordinating, in addition to duties which will be carried out at the President's discretion. Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, says the appointments are part of efforts to prioritize effective and efficient working synergy between the ministry and between the presidency and federal ministries. The president wishes the new presidential aides well in discharging their duties. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima is tasking stakeholders in the power sector to evolve modern technology in line with global best practices to address the challenges facing the power sector in Nigeria. The Vice President was speaking at a summit titled Agbara Business Roundtable in Ogun State. Hakim Jimo reports.
The inadequate generation, transmission and distribution of electricity in Nigeria has continued to be a source of concern to many. Stakeholders in the sector, including the federal and state governments, corporate organizations, and captains of industries, converged on Agbara, Ogun State, to chart way forward and evolve modern techniques to tackle the challenge. The summit is being championed by Niger Delta Power Holding Company, which is in the forefront of the establishment of an electricity distribution outfit at Agbara, Ogun State, to serve Agbara business cluster and its environs. The chairman, board of directors of the company, and the vice president of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, who assured that the federal government is committed to ensuring stable power supply, mandated the management of the company to distinguish itself in power supply around Agbara in the next 4 months.
It's all about advocacy, about people believing in you. And I have the confidence of my boss so that I can talk authoritatively. He's someone who is very passionate about the Nigeria project. He's very, very committed to repositioning this nation. We all need to rally around him and support him to see to the realization of his dream for a greater Nigeria.
Ogun and Lagos state governments promise to continue to provide enabling environment for the sector to thrive.
Such initiatives like this speak to ensuring the sustainability of competitive expeditive industrialization.
This ambitious endeavor, when completed, will bolster the power supply in Agbara, ensuring a reliable and uninterrupted flow.
Goodwill messages by the management of the company centered on appreciation to the federal government for the unwavering support and the renewed mandate to serve the people better. From Agbara in Ogun State, Akim Jimo, NTA News.
Away from Agbara, the Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heineken Lukbobiri, has pledged to work with all stakeholders towards increasing crude oil production and more revenue for the country. The minister says following engagements with critical stakeholders in the sector, he is optimistic that current visible improvements in the production value chains will be sustained. Lydia Sampson reports.
Noting the fact that Nigeria is still very much dependent on oil for substantial revenue and forest reserves, the already steadily increasing production requires all hands on deck. He acknowledged that the media has a key role in positively showcasing Nigeria to the world as the best place to invest.
Sole ambition is increased production and also to ensure how we can rekindle, the confidence of, the industry. This industry has become more competitive. All countries in Africa are producing oil. All countries in the world are producing oil. And so the IOCs have a lot more opportunity, a lot more options, in terms of where they want to invest. And so we have to also ensure that our governance, our fiscal, regulatory frameworks are also competitive so that we don't provide any opportunity for these incentives to.
He says, in addition to tackling security, the ministry has identified where the shortfall in production is coming from and that it is being tackled. The chairman of Energy Correspondents in Abuja, Victor Nodim, promised the minister that energy correspondents will continue to collaborate with the minister and the ministry in projecting policy trust of the ministry as well as to harmoniously escalate challenges in the sector. He said open door interactions will enshrine greater synergy for a win-win symbiotic industry projections across the value chains. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Similarly, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has reiterated its commitment to creating an enabling environment for growth and investment in the upstream oil and gas industry in Nigeria. The organizer Lydia Sampson reports that this is the objective behind the continuous interface with industry players.
Key players say the 12 regulations already gazetted and published to date strictly adhered to the requirements of the PIA through the drafting, stakeholders consultation, and final gazetting. It is in furtherance of the above that the Commission is holding yet another stakeholders consultation for the next 3 days to fine-tune 6 more regulations.
The process is not complete until the stakeholders' critical inputs are obtained, discussed, and incorporated where necessary into the regulations.
They include the Draft Upstream Commercial Operations Regulations, Draft Upstream Petroleum Code of Conduct and Compliance Regulations. There is also the Draft Upstream Petroleum Development Contract Administration Regulations and Draft Upstream Revocation of Licenses and Lease Regulations, as well as Draft Amendment to the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Host Communities Development Regulations 2022. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And still on oil revenue, but of a different kind, Musa Abubakar will guide us on the happenings in the world of business. Hello, Musa.
Thank you, Naja. The World Bank says it has an obligation to match their energy with a fierce determination as well as be an institution that exports optimism and impact. The bank's president, Ajay Banga, said this at the IMF World Bank meetings in Marrakech, Morocco. He explained that the bank must change to make good on that promise and deliver on what is being demanded, explaining that the bank's evolution began months ago and today there is a new vision and mission for the World Bank to create a world free of poverty on a livable planet.
That's the sincerity of our ambition. It's going to set us on a journey that will require reimagined partnerships, a new way of working, a new way of thinking, an innovative plan to scale and to replicate. We will need additional resources, but most importantly, we will need optimism for what could be. That is the new direction of the World Bank, and that is what I'm excited to share with you today. The first steps of this journey began in April, when the World Bank and its team found a way to squeeze $40 billion over 10 years from our balance sheet by adjusting our loan-to-equity ratio. Over the last few months, we've dug even deeper. We've created a portfolio guarantee mechanism. We've launched a hybrid capital instrument. These new tools enable us to take more risks, and they boost our lending capacity further, all while preserving our AAA rating.
Now, the Debt Management Office says the 150 billion naira sovereign sukuk, whose offer for subscription closed on October, was well received with a total subscription of 652.827 billion naira. Statement by the Debt Management Office says the 435% subscription shows the level of awareness of the product has increased and investors are willing to support financing of infrastructure. The Debt Office said it has allocated 359 billion naira to different investors who subscribe to sovereign sukuk in response to the surge in demand for the bond. It said that the 360 billion naira will be used to finance the construction and rehabilitation of roads and bridges across the 6 geopolitical zones and the Federal Capital Territory. And to capital market, the equities market closed Friday trading session in positive territory. The all-share index advanced 0.10% to close 67,200.69 basis point. A total of 224 million securities valued at 4.16 billion naira were traded in 5,049 deals. Equity capitalization increased to 36.9 trillion naira. Well, you're watching NTA Network News. More stories continues with Naja after the break.
We're still talking business. Stakeholders in the financial sector have described the launch of Alternative Bank, a non-interest banking system, as a revolutionary ethical solution to transforming the financial future of the country. This was during the launch of Alternative Bank in Kano. Awal Salisu reports.
The Alternative Bank focuses mainly on building partnership that connects individuals and businesses, leveraging technology to create business optimization while solving an individual's daily financial needs. This in addition to giving priority to social impact, corporate responsibility, and ensuring religious compliance in its dealings. The launching of Alternative Bank in Kano, stakeholders in the financial industry believe came at the right time, as people will take advantage of numerous opportunities that are abound in the system.
We place agents that provide financial services to these people in the rural areas, account opening, financial inclusion services, all kinds of cash in, cash out transactions, transfers, and any kind of solution that they require.
We are in health and we are in education. We are also into renewable energy. A few months back, we launched the first ever Keke Napep that is solar powered.
We have special products that are, geared towards the SMEs, and then we can actually give our SMEs facilities to support their businesses up to 5 million naira without any collateral.
The gathering also served as a hub for networking and collaboration as participants share insights on the evolving financial landscape, perspectives and challenges ahead.
Through some informal discussions I had with some top echelons in the bank, I can say that they are poised to bring about the alternative needed.
The synchronized multi-city brand launch took place simultaneously in Kano, Abuja and Lagos. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
The Minister for Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, has restated the overarching policy of value addition by any company with requisite license and permits to mine minerals, notifying potential investors that the era of exporting raw materials is over. Alake made this known in Lado Village, Nasarawa State, for the foundation laying ceremony of a factory for processing lithium batteries. Acknowledging the significance of the foundation stone laying ceremony for processing up to 16,000 tons of lithium batteries, the minister says it aligns with the cardinal policy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to create wealth and generate employment opportunities for the teeming youth in the country.
Industrial sector in Nigeria henceforth must add local value. Without that, we shall no longer license any company, anybody, any institution, any corporate organization that does not have local value addition as an integral and critical factor of the execution of its project.
The minister also commended the courage and enterprise of the governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, for realizing the successful groundbreaking ceremony, advising other state governors to imbibe the economic recovery policy of the federal government. President Bola Tinubu has approved the establishment of the FCT Civil Service Commission and the Mandate Secretariat for Women Affairs. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, made the announcement at a media session in Abuja. Onoze Yakubu has the highlights of the meeting.
The entire FCTA workforce, women folk and the residents now have a cause to celebrate on the establishment of the FCT Civil Service Commission with the approval granted by President Bola Tinubu, Secretariat for Women Affairs, while the FCT administration has been pulled out of the Treasury Single Account, TSA. This development paves the way for the administration to utilize the territory's internally generated revenue for the development of the nation's capital.
In 2018, the National Assembly passed a bill into law, which was assented by the former Vice President, Osibajo. When he was acting as the president, he assented to that bill that became law that FCT should have civil service commission. Civil servants in FCT, they all lost hope. You cannot be here and be a permanent secretary. If National Assembly had passed a bill into law, which have been assented by Mr. President, then what is wrong in implementing that law? I made a memo to Mr. President. Mr. President, look, you have a renewed hope agenda. The civil servants in FCT are suffering. They have lost hope. They are not committed to working because what am I working? At the end of the day, I can't get to the apex of my career. I can tell you authoritatively, Mr. President, I given approval for the establishment of Civil Service Commission for the federal capital. The money will be given to us. Projects left, right, and the center going on. That's the only way we can survive it. And Mr. President graciously agreed with us and approved that we should put up for the Civil Treasury account.
The FCT Minister and the Minister of State used the opportunity to receive in audience the executive members of the State House Press Corps who paid them courtesy visit. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says agencies under his watch will be strengthened through policies which will stop unnecessary capital flight from Nigeria to the rest of the world. This was during an engagement with officials of the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria in continuation of his visit to agencies under the ministry. Salihu Gwanara reports.
The week-long fact-finding mission by the minister and his team is to facilitate the desire to explore and set machineries in motion on how to positively harness human resources to fast-track the development plans of the government. Director General of Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, Olalekan Fadolapo, said, so far, the agency's regulatory framework and activities are in line with the new narrative of the government.
If they throw us out of the budget, it's going to affect us in such a way that we need to reduce our staff, and most especially the northern people. We don't want a situation that this one will cause a major dislocation. To help us look at it, we have done a letter to appeal to the DG budget and the Minister of Finance.
Advertising is not just business, it is also a way to engage the nation, promote our culture and values, and reflect our diversity. It also provides direct and indirect job creation. Whatever we do, we have to see that jobs for our youth are protected. And I want to emphasize this: we cannot afford a situation where all the jobs that are meant for Nigerians are taken out of this country. There is nothing that is in advertising that cannot happen in this country. We have every potential. Of course, down the line, if you have some other things that you can do outside, so be it. But it's important that Nigerians play a key part in the affairs of Nigeria.
The minister reiterated support to the rebranding Nigerian project by Akon in Abuja. Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
The renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu administration, plus press freedom and access to information, come into focus as Cyril Stober sits one-on-one with the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, at 10:30 tonight on the network service of the NTA.
When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over on the 29th, the majority of Nigerians were denied the benefit of infrastructural development. They were denied benefits of jobs. They were denied benefit of healthcare. They were denied benefit of the proper input in the agricultural sector, because so much was being wasted on the so-called fuel subsidy.
Do keep a date at 10:30 tonight. Now, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, says the federal government is open to partnerships aimed at deepening democratic governance for national development. This is when he received a delegation of the former Deputy Governors Forum in his office. Kenneth Nanim was there for NTA.
This warm reception is an indication of a long-standing relationship amongst these men of like minds. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, is delighted to see the forum is still keeping a united front, despite members' diverse backgrounds and political affiliations. These attributes he wants replicated in Nigeria's larger society. He therefore expresses the confidence that the forum has a lot to offer, of which the country could leverage in growing the economy and upholding national unity.
There is more we can achieve as one people. Whether the person in the villa is APC or his PDP, he's this. The most important thing is that at a point in time, you must have only one leader. And today, by the grace of God and the instrumentality of our people, the President of Nigeria is Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu of APC. It is our lot, as also former governors, to give him your full support so that he can serve our people to the best of his ability.
For the visitors, it was also an opportunity to intimate the SGF on the activities of the forum.
Our focus being to ensure enhanced relationship in the way governance is attended to at the subnational level.
Meanwhile, the Bangladesh High Commissioner to Nigeria, Masdur Rahman, is seeking a more strengthened bilateral relations with Nigeria in the areas of agriculture, mineral resources development, technology, pharmaceuticals, and trade. Representing the SGF Special Advisor to the President on Policy Coordination, Hadiza Bala Usman, expresses government's readiness to grow every sector of the economy, for which a strengthened diplomatic cooperation is key.
Agribusiness is an important part of President Tinubu's priority areas, agriculture and food security. We look forward to an enhanced collaboration.
The two countries are on the same page on issues bordering on global peace and cultural integration. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
While Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives Benjamin Kalu has emphasized that Nigeria's unity is non-negotiable for accelerated growth and development through regional integration policies. This was during an audience with leaders of Ohaneze Ndigbo at the National Assembly. Mitaire Ikpen reports.
The Ohaneze Ndigbo delegation, led by its President General worldwide, Emmanuel Wayaun, is here to interface with the leadership of the National Assembly to chart a way forward for peace and security in the southeast geopolitical zone and the nation at large. The Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization extols the capacity and competence of the leadership of the 10th Assembly, expressing readiness to build bridges of peace and prosperity.
We're commissioning people to design an interstate railway that will connect all the southeast states with Port Harcourt, with Abuja, and with Lagos. So we have designed, and this is going to be driven by private initiative.
The Deputy Speaker called for concerted efforts towards restoring peace and security in the southeast, while challenging governors of the region to key into Southeast Peace and Security Project.
Peace in Southeast project is a project that will have the buy-in of all the constituencies in Igbo land. And I'm happy to announce that the security agencies in this country have accepted that proposal and will be partnering with the House of Representatives in this our initiative.
He stressed that the sit-at-home order being observed in some parts of the region is not in the character of Igbo people, and advocated rejection of the order by all well-meaning citizens.
No to sit at home. No. These tendencies are alien and abhorrent to how the Igbos are constituted.
From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Similarly, traditional rulers across Nigeria have stressed the need to sustain unity in the country despite cultural differences. These thoughts resonated at the 80th birthday lecture and book launch of the former Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, Dr. Edmond Daukoro, the Amanayabo of Nembe Kingdom. Ekene Ndului reports.
Sounds of celebration from Bayelsa. King Edmond Daukoro, the Amayanabo of Nembe Kingdom, has turned 80, and it was a gathering of kings, queens, and royalty that turned up to grace the occasion. The guests cut across several regions in the country, and these traditional leaders say is a true representation of Nigeria, which they must work hard to sustain.
We're here to pronounce that yes, the unity of the institution is really real and cannot be thwarted by anybody from any political angle.
They left their kingdoms to honor you because of who you are, because of what you stand for, because of what you do. Very selfless in your approach.
The books, Leaves of Legacy, the story of King Edmond Daukoro, and Towards a Safe and Sustainable Future, chronicles the efforts made by the celebrants to bolster Nigeria's oil sector during his stint as Minister of State for Petroleum and Secretary General of OPEC.
Mingi of Nembe, Dr. Daukoro then, led the team that discovered the oil field Bonga. Today, Bonga is the biggest oil field on and offshore.
For the king, diligence is the foundation of true success.
When faced with a task, I try to do my best, to my utmost, leaving nothing behind. And when you do that, you get the peace that comes with diligence, because you have left nothing behind.
The occasion also provided an opportunity for these stakeholders to discuss other sundry issues. In Abuja, Ekene Ndului, NTA News.
On the health front, Gombe State is expanding its health safety net to cover more poor and vulnerable people after closure of the National Basic Healthcare Provision Fund portal. Emmanuel Akila reports that this is with funds from the state by government supported by UNICEF.
The Gombe State Contributory Health Care Management Agency, Go Health, provides the veritable platform for the United Nations Children Education Fund, UNICEF, to expand the enrollment of pregnant mothers and children under 2 years in 4 local government areas with high rate of zero-dose immunization for free medical care.
By the year 2026, we want to at least cover 25% population of Gombe State to have access to qualitative healthcare services, affordable healthcare services from primary to tertiary level of care across the state.
Najatu, who has just been delivered of a baby girl at the Dadunkowa Primary Health Care Center, is being enrolled to have access to free medical care for herself and her newborn baby.
I just put to bed a baby and I will have access to free medical care. When we come without enough money, it's always difficult. But with Go Health, we have free medication.
Facility managers work with health community development committees to identify the beneficiaries for the enrollment.
If they come for delivering, we assist them to deliver successfully. If they come for immunization, we give them so that their children will be immunized. And when they come for those that are lactating mothers, in case they have problem, when they come, we assist them.
Go Health says after the donor-funded enrollment, the state government is coming up with the equity-funded enrollment, which is 1% of the state consolidated revenue set aside to provide free medical care to the poor and vulnerable across the state. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
And now Adiola is standing by with more reports from our Lagos zone. Adiola.
In Najatu. The Senate Committee on Marine Transportation has assured the management of a Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, that it will help strengthen the agency so it can better perform its statutory functions. This assurance was given during an oversight visit of the committee to NIMASA offices in Lagos. Bolaji Hakim completes the story.
Distinguished Senator, young Senator.
Members of the Senate Committee on Marine Transport on their first oversight function, headed by Senator Wasiu Eshinlokun. The committee members visited NIMASA to have first-time information about the duties and mode of operation of the agency. The senators were taking around all facilities of the agency in Lagos, which include operational office, search and rescue-based clinic in Apapa, and regional maritime control tower in Kirikiri. While expressing satisfaction with the quality of facilities put in place for smooth operations of the agency, members of the committee stressed the need to amend some of the agency's acts in line with current situations.
We want NIMASA also, as critical stakeholders, to look through the legislation, offered advice, what they think that we can do to improve the legislation. This is the time for them to come on board, make suggestions for the benefits of the maritime security.
Director General of NIMASA, Dr. Bashir Jamo, informed the committee of the agency's readiness to maximize every opportunity available in marine and blue economy, which is said will be of a great economic benefits to the country, taking into consideration the number of vessels that make use of the Nigerian waters.
We have already, produced a kind of strategy for the implementations of the blue economy, even though that strategy is only for the maritime industry. Now, since we are Marine and Blue Economy Ministry, so it's going to be expanded with other sectors.
The oversight visit also brought to the fore the need for all security agencies within the Nigerian waterways to have clear and well-defined role. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
Still an oversight visit, the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, has become better positioned to deliver on its mandate of building capacity for national development with the speed at which roads and other forms of infrastructure are being developed in and around the institute. Chairman House Committee on Public Service Matters, Sani Bala Usman, stated this during an oversight visit to ASCON in Badagry, Lagos. Diana Ajale has details.
As a federal government agency,
Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, is saddled with the responsibility of providing higher management training for the development of senior executives in the public and private sectors. This oversight visit by members of the House Committee on Public Service Matters, led by its chairman, Sani Bala Usman, is to ascertain the level of progress made so far.
ASCON is an institute that, all Nigerian states need to be here for training of their public servants. But they will tell you that because of the bad roads, they cannot be able to come. But I want to assure them that at least 95 to 98% of the road, at least one lane, is now okay, and people can start coming to ASCON.
Other members of the House also emphasized on the need for proper maintenance and sustainability to keep the institution running effectively.
We need to continue, intervening, collaborating with the other institutions with a view to ensuring that, funds, the college has been assisted in terms of funds.
But coming here yesterday, we drove an hour from the airport, and it's a thing that gives us so much joy, especially the people of Badagry.
We'll do our best to make sure that we help her in making this place comfortable for all the public service.
While highlighting some of the achievements and challenges faced in the last few years, Director General of the college expressed appreciation to the government for construction of the major road leading to the college, while appealing for more of government support in the area of power supply.
4 years back, we were buying a truck of diesel for like 8 million naira to last a month. Now that same truck will cost 34 million naira. Maybe if we had solar power, our diesel consumption will be reduced.
Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, has trained several executives within public and private sectors in human capital development. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
And those are reports from Lagos. More news when we come back from this break. To stay.
The labor of our heroes past still bearing fruit as President Ahmed Bola Tinubu approves 18 billion naira for payment of outstanding group life assurance to families of military heroes, fallen heroes. The Minister of Defense, Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, made this known during a news conference heralding activities marking the 2024 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
This news conference heralds the commencement of activities marking the 2024 Annual Armed Forces Remembrance Day across the country, a period to honor departed military heroes who paid the supreme price protecting the nation's territorial integrity, serving armed forces personnel and their families. Activities marking the forthcoming celebration includes community service by members of the Nigerian Legion, skill acquisition program for widows, emblem launching, special Jumat and interdenominational church service.
The climax of the celebration will be the laying of words by Mr. President and other dignitaries at the Arcade, Abuja on Monday, 15th January 2024. The governors will also lay words simultaneously in their respective states.
To improve the welfare of military veterans and the families of the fallen heroes, the Minister of Defense stressed that the federal government approved inclusion of ex-servicemen and their families in the cash transfer program and the payment of debarment allowance.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has recently approved the sum of 18 billion naira to pay for the outstanding losses done for those officers that are not covered by previous years' life insurance.
The Military Pension Board is conducting regular verification to block leakages and ensure prompt payment of benefits to retirees. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now to Kano, where the state government, under its mass wedding initiative, has tied the knot for 1,800 couples selected from across the 44 local government areas of the state. Awal Salisu has the details.
Mass wedding in Kano had been a campaign promise of the new Nigeria People's Party. It is a replication of the earlier one held during the second tenure of the party's leader, Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwaso. 1,800 couples took part in this one. They all emerged after following the set process that include health and medical screening. A seminar was also held which was aimed at preparing couples on do's and don'ts of marital life, where the organizers reminded them on the marital rights and the need for them to live in accordance with the Islamic injunctions. Among the couples is an old and blind man, Abubakar Sani Jibrin, who thanked Kano State government for introducing mass wedding initiative. The inaugural wedding was held at Kano Central Mosque, where Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, served as the father of the brides, while Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, who settled the bride price of 50,000 naira each, served as the groom's father.
We want to have the blessing of the Lord. We want to have the mercy of the Lord. That's why we engage these people in the mass marriages.
A grand reception will be held on Saturday in honor of the couples. Aminu Umar, NTA News.
It seems I changed Aminu Umar's name to Awal Salisu. I'm so sorry, Aminu. There'll be more reports after these messages. Former Minister of Commerce during the Second Republic, former Senator and Sardauna Dutse Bello Mai Tama Yusuf, has been laid to rest in Kano. Ibrahim Muhammad reports that the burial was attended by hundreds of people from near and far. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep sorrow over the passing of former Minister and Chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Bello Mai Tama Yusuf, extending his deepest sympathy and condolences to Senator Yusuf's family and friends, as well as the government and people of Jigawa State. Empowerment during his time in the Senate. He was known for empowerment during his time in the Senate, and President Tinubu prays that Almighty Allah will grant the soul of the late Sardauna Dutse eternal rest and give succor to all who grieve this loss. The death has been announced of Ephraim Lenka Dewa, who passed away after a brief illness. His funeral arrangements will be announced by his family in due course. He is survived by wife, children, and grandchildren. On that note, we conclude the network news on NTA.